last way the ego crops in or creeps in is through all or nothing thinking. We here at Without Bounds refer to this as black or white thinking. And it can kind of overlap with the overgeneralized style, in as much that when you are thinking in that fixed mindset, more on that in a moment, thinking in that fixed mindset that it's always this way, then you're making it so that it's all or nothing. Like it's just that all the time. And the beauty of life sits in the in-between. The beauty of the fact that there's a me and there's a you, and there's a space between us, and it's through this space that the chemistry, the physics, the energy is exchanged. It's because there's a betweenness between us that all or nothing really just crumbles. You know, we're really in that in-between space. We exist and thrive in the in-between space because life is, while we do love to say all is one, the fact of the matter is that life is variety, life is difference, it is choice, it is options, it is freedom. So this all or nothing style of thinking, this black or white thing, doesn't capture the true beauty of experience. And the ego, again, is trying to rob you of that experience. It's trying to make you think it's all you against the world. Or you're nothing. You're just nothing. Because if you're not the lead role in this, then what the hell are you? If you're not the one who gets to be the best and to be the best special most victim of all life, then you're nothing. And that kind of thinking, that style of thinking that says, I'm either going to be the best success or I'm going to be a failure. Because if I don't get to do this, if I don't, get this deadline in and I get this paper in, then I'm a failure. If I don't get this video done and I don't edit it right, then I'm a failure. It's just all or nothing. And that fixed mindset, have you ever read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck? Dr. Dweck talks about how this mindset of just seeing things in this way, of utilizing this style of thinking, is actually holding you back from what you could be, is actually preventing you, is failing from the start. This is failure from the start. This is failing to get the plane off the ground, failure to get the rocket in the air, out of Earth's orbit. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to start overcoming these things and begin to upgrade your eraser and the overrider of your mind, that watcher of your ego, then it's time to start building the mental framework, the cage that you are going to use to get that monster in the cage, my friend. The active thoughts that you can use to actually begin to protect you from this thing that wants you to feel separate, wants you to feel like a special victim, wants you to be less than you are and to make assumptions that are just not true. And you can do that by developing what I'm about to show you. So if you hang in there, we'll get through this together. Let's do it. So the first method that you can use to upgrade and begin overriding these is to do something that I've been doing throughout this entire, time that we're together and in any program that I'll ever do for the rest of my life. And that is questioning. Now, questioning is a powerful tool because if you ask a question, your subconscious must answer it. Your subconscious must what? Answer it. Now, we go into great depth exploring the power of curiosity, the power of questions in the subconscious upgrade. So I challenge you to figure out how to ignite your curiosity. And if you want that extra leg up, if you are serious and you want to speed that process up to activate your curiosity and get the upgrade that you seek in your own life, then check out the subconscious upgrade. And in this moment, questioning as a tool begins with one question that you can ask to any of these things that are happening in your life when they pop up. And that is, are you ready? You ready? Is this true? Is this what? True. And think about this. If if you're telling yourself, oh, she must think I'm ugly, I'm not going to try to ask her out because if I do, I'm just going to fail. I'll be a failure for the rest of my life. Oh my God, she's just too good for me. She's such a hot girl and I'm such a failure. Just letting this all just come in and just assuming that the worst is going to happen. But ask yourself, is this true? For some of you, it might be true, but that doesn't mean it will remain so. And for most of us, it isn't true. And that's why questioning works so well. Not only because the subconscious must answer it, but because the ego is trying to trick you. It's that trickster, baby, and you're here to tell the trickster to cut it out. You're here to get it to stop by understanding the power of that question that you ask yourself. You know, throughout all this, I was asking you questions. You know, what do you think I'm doing? There I go again. So with questioning, you want this on your tool belt because it's going to be able to counteract, create an active thought that pushes against these things and gets you to relax and soften your mind when it starts to get a little frantic and chaotic. And the next one, the next tool that you have is to affirm or disaffirm. So if you've been in personal development, you've studied it as much as me and Jim have, then you know what the affirmation is. You know that you say it in the present tense, you say it about what you want as if it's already happened, and you can use the affirmation. Think about it. If you have something saying, I'm such a failure, you can affirm it, or you can affirm the truth that you want to embody. I am a great success who overcomes my failure. So remember, the opposite of a fixed mindset, if we want to overcome that, you need a growth mindset. And you're here in this course because we only invited growth mindset people in. And if you take this seriously, when these thoughts pop up, you're going to have specific triggers in your own mind that you refer to when you need to. For me, it's something like, something's going a little crazy, I feel a little anxiety in the chesticles, and I hear in my mind, I have nothing to fear. When I fear something is going wrong and I feel doubt, I hear in my mind, I have nothing to fear. I have no doubt in myself. And I'm affirming. I'm just affirming myself like I'm full of courage. I'm courageous. It's like I'm utilizing these to combat that inner swelling of emotional and mental storms that are building because of the ego. And then there's the disaffirm, the disaffirmation. Now, the disaffirmation is basically looking at any of these things that pop up. If you have a negative filter that says, oh man, why should I even vote? Everything is so stupid about government, it's so broken. The disaffirm would be, well, yeah, it is stupid, but does my vote really count for nothing? Because I see many individuals doing so many things, and I don't believe this. By saying, I don't believe this, you're disaffirming this negative belief. I know you probably think your vote's still not worth anything, but I promise you should still vote anyway. Now, another way this pops up is if you're thinking, you're labeling things, you're being a little bit judgmental, you're being judgmental of your children, they came home, something's wrong, and you're like, would you stop that? You're being such an idiot. It's like, hold on a second. Do you have to label that onto them? It might creep up in your mind, but the minute that it does, disaffirm it. No, they're not an idiot. That's not how I should be talking to them. It's okay to have that kind of elevated conversation with yourself. I challenge you to have that kind of conversation with yourself. And one of the best ways that you can disaffirm any of these is by saying, fuck that. Cursing physiologically and has been clinically shown to actually reduce emotional and mental stress and physical stress. It has the ability to sort of reduce our pain. That's why, like, when I'm doing a lift and I'm about to feel like I can't do this next one, I'll just scream, fuck! And I'll get the bar up. By utilizing the curse, by saying fuck that, you're telling the ego, get back in your cage, little one. Shrink down, baby. You can't control me. Fuck that. Some, negative thought creeps in. I'm a failure. I suck. Fuck that. If that ever is coming up in your life, you have my permission to tell it to go fuck itself. Now, careful. Do not say fuck it. We're not blowing it off. We're saying fuck that. We're telling it, not you, not today. You can be my friend, you little guy, you little brat. You can stick around, but you gotta do it on this leash in this cage. Because if you think you're getting out, you're in for a hell of a lot of pain. So, the next one is my favorite. My favorite because whether you realize it or not, you being here in this moment is an act of compassion for others and an act of compassion for yourself. Because when you're engaging others in the world and you see this cropping up, you see this creeping up in their lives, and when you are experiencing this by yourself in your own life, the love that you can give yourself is understanding what the ego is up to. By knowing what the ego is up to, you can decide, this is who I want to be or not. Because if you want to let that monster grow, you can, but by giving yourself compassion, you starve the ego. No! You starve it of the energy that would feed it. By giving love to yourself and by extending love to others, by being a corrective force in the world for when the ego's creeping up, you can begin to heal. And by heal, I mean tear up the roads inside of yourself and help others tear up the roads inside of themselves, where their mind is just becoming a slave to this little guy. And compassion is that healing force that says, I care for you like you're one of my own, like you're a child. And you care for yourself. Think of yourself as a gift, as someone worth taking care of. Because the ego is just trying to rob you of that. You are a gift for the best reasons, because you're here to give more of yourself. Not to take it away, not to hold it back from others. The ego's trying to separate you and hold you back. Tell it to stop. Tell it no more. Because the love that you can give yourself will set you free. And I've thrown in a little bit of an extra exercise, so if you go back to the Watch Your Ego video, there is a bonus there that will help you go through and start this self-love internal compassion practice. And I promise it will help you and help you reduce anxiety in your life. And the last way to start and effectively override this ego and erase it even better is through scripting and visualization. So, and there's just actually one thing before I get too carried away with this one. For the compassion and self-compassion, I tend to go live each morning around 8 o'clock. So if you want to join me for some meditation on Instagram Live, IG Live, my friend, then you will find me doing a guided walkthrough. You'll see me walking and talking about, meditation, talking about forgiveness, talking about gratitude, but definitely check it out on Instagram Live, because that's where I do this. I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Without bounds now.
Oh, now, script and visualize. To script and visualize is to recruit. To what? Recruit the most powerful forces of the mind, the imaginative forces, and the storytelling aspect of the mind. Remember, we talk about that negative filtering before, how my brother was lost in this story where he was never going to find love. But once we got into the script, we got in there, we opened the brain up, and we're like, all right, we see that he's thinking this way, and we're just gonna, pull out all the wires, and we're just gonna put in some new pieces that say, I'm worthy, I'm a great lover, I'm finding the woman of my dreams. We're gonna change the script and create an image in your mind. This is the most powerful resource you have. If it's a little hard for you to use your imagination, What I want you to do is start practicing, start thinking about the life that you want, because that will make you more magnetic to it. I'm not going to get too far into the physics of that, even though I'm not a physicist, but I'm not going to get in too far into the process of visualization right now. But I invite you to start imagining the life that you want and script that out. Write down the story where you win, because that creates the level of action, the expectation that you need to start combating the ego, to tell it no, and to move forward into the life that you actually want. So just to wrap up all of these real quick, we have questioning. Again, asking, is this true? You've got affirm and disaffirm. Telling yourself what you want to be, who you are, who you believe yourself to be, and saying fuck that to the thoughts that bring you down. Then giving yourself some love and compassion, because the ego is trying to rob you of that love. It's trying to make you more special than you really need to be. But with some compassion and self-love, you can restore the image that you have, the image that you have of yourself and the image that you have of the world. And you deserve to see us all better and to see yourself better, most of all. And then lastly, we have to script and visualize. And if you can master getting down the script, getting down what it is that you want to be thinking on a regular basis, and utilize your imagination to ignite that divine spark and force inside of you, then you can be without bounds. No, I'm kidding. You can be someone who readily overrides, overcomes, and manages and begins to erase this little bitch, this little monster, this little brat called the ego. Because we're going to stop edging God out. We're going to open ourselves up to oneness. We're going to connect and drive home, my friends, home to the greatness inside of yourself. Because it's this little thing, when it gets bigger, it's making you think you're the monster and not letting you see that greatness, that light inside of you. And in order to get closer to that light, I'll see you in the next lesson where we discuss the mystical experience, something that is so near and dear to me, and I'm so stoked to share it with you. I'll see you over there where we finish this out and figure out once and for all how to connect, how to love, how to be, and erase that little brat once and for all. Be well. See you there.